Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Shadow and Sun Show, and welcome to part one of the Eternal DM, the DM's disease, if you will. A lot of people out there I've heard talk about this recently, so it caught my attention because I've been planning this for a little while, probably longer than I should have. I probably should have done this sooner, but most of the people I hang out with online, most of the people in my games even, and in my friend circle are all dungeon masters, and it's a strange change of pace. Prior to meeting all of you, I was the Eternal GM, but I was the Eternal GM with a set group of players and people that we'd all known each other for 30 years, and not one of them, well, one of them, but he passed away, was ever the Dungeon Master. It was always me. And I got my start back in 1979, maybe 78. I'd have to, check school records and stuff. But I was in 7th grade, and my friends had told me about this new game called Dungeons and Dragons. And one of my friends was the Dungeon Master. And we played some games, and I was like, "This is awesome. This is. I want to know more. I want to do this. I want to do this a lot." So I went out, and at the time I was mowing lawns. You might have heard this story before. I was mowing lawns to get extra money, as kids did back in the day. We actually had side jobs, delivering papers, lemonade stands, things like that. So I went out and I started mowing lawns and putting all my money away to get this. The Player's Handbook. Yes, I've had this for all that time. I can almost bend it round. I mean, it's just beat to hell. I'm retiring it because I tried turning a page the other day, just gingerly turning a page, and it cracked. So that one's going into a box somewhere until they put me in a box, and then they'll put us back together again. And I brought it to the table at my friend's house, and he was not happy. Let's just put it that way. He was very, very upset. You're not supposed to have that, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, it says Player's Handbook right on the cover. I'm a player. This is my handbook. And, he freaked out a little more, but, eventually acquiesced to my desire to know more about the game and be able to, ask fewer questions and know my spells and know what my characters can do and blah, blah, blah. And of course, Dungeon Masters in the old days weren't real big on that. And I'm going to do a video about that. Why, in a way he was right, but in a way he was very, very wrong. And because of his attitude and me being the kind of guy that I am, I decided, well, if that's the case and you're going to be so butthurt about that, wait till you see what I got next. So I doubled my efforts and started mowing twice as many lawns. And it took me about 2 weeks to get the Player's Handbook of saving up. It was $15 at the time. And, that was, believe it or not, that was a big deal. I got paid about $2.50 a lawn and, $5 for front and back. And so I doubled my efforts so that I could pick up a copy of this. And if you don't own a copy of this, I'm going to do a video on this, on why this is the most important role-playing game book ever, because it literally is. And I don't want to hear the high Gygaxian term ever again, because if this is too complicated for you, you are in the wrong freaking hobby. But I doubled my efforts and went and earned up the $20 that it took to get this, and I actually did it in less time than it took to get the Player's Handbook, because he had lit a fire under my keister because, oh really? I'm not supposed to have that? Well, wait till I have that. It wasn't a matter of like cheating, but it was a matter of just, it was really just spite, piss and vinegar, and wanting to know more about the game. I love this game so much that I couldn't get enough, and I'd probably read the Player's Handbook cover to cover, literally like every night for a couple of weeks at least, waiting for the next game, etc. So the very next game I got invited to, I brought this with me, And my dungeon master said, and looked me right in the eye, more or less, and said, "Fine, you're the dungeon master now." And well, I've been doing it ever since. Now, I've been in a few games prior to meeting you guys online, but prior to that, I literally dungeon mastered for a very large group of, people who would make up different parties and different games. We played Traveler, we played Palladium and Chill and Call of Cthulhu, and so many other games, Gamma World, all the TSR games we played together. And I've been the Eternal Dungeon Master ever since then, with, literally like 2 exceptions where I got to be the player in other people's games. And as a Dungeon Master, I knew a lot of the tricks already, so it wasn't as fun being a player. So I went back to being the Dungeon Master. Plus, to be honest, I ruined an entire campaign with a 2nd level half-elf fighter assassin that just knew way too much, and probably way too much real world knowledge and game knowledge, and just trying to have fun. But I just tanked his poor campaign, and that was about the last time I played as a player till I met you fine folks out there in TV land. You guys know who you are if you've dungeon mastered for me. I've learned a bit about it, and I've learned how to not use the dungeon master knowledge and information to ruin anybody else's games, with maybe one exception. Sorry, you know who you are. If you're watching this, just trying to prove a point. Death is important in a game. If characters can't die, you're not playing a game, you're just telling a story. But that's not even a video for another time, because I already made that video. I made that whole series several times in the past. So if you want to know more about why player characters must die, I'm not going to do the thing, because that's somebody else's thing. I've done it before. It's kind of... Anyways, are you guys the Dungeon Master? The Eternal Dungeon Master? If you are, hit me up down below. I want to see how many Eternal Dungeon Masters are out there. I'm going to do part 2 with solutions to your what ails you as the Eternal GM. You could either embrace it like I have, or you could do some of the other things that I've also done that will get you out of that rut, out of that slump. There's a whole lot of cures and remedies for what ails you as the Eternal GM. Too many to go into in a short video. This one's almost 10 minutes, and I'm going to cut it in just a minute. But I want to know how many of my friends out there consider themselves the Eternal GM, and people I've never met, strangers out there in TV land, and folks that'll come by and watch this video seeing, oh my gosh, I'm the Eternal GM, I'm sick of it. Well, like I said, there are cures, there are remedies for it, there are ways to get you out of that slump. But in the meantime, let me know. Are you? Why are you? Why do you think you are? And what do you want to do about it? Do you want to keep doing that? Do you want to find something new? Do you want to, take a break, which is, tantamount to quitting, in my opinion, and I don't do that, except for a few things which you also know about. But let me know in the insult section down below. I'm looking forward to hearing from you guys, and I will roll out part 2 probably next week, because I want to have like another video this week, but not a sequel to this one. I'm trying to do at least 3 videos for you guys out there a week, that all have different topics and subjects, so that I don't burn this one out, because I want to get some feedback from you guys before I go on to the next one. So until next time, folks out there in TV land and the interwebs and wherever you may be, go out there, get some gaming done before it's too late, because the clock is always ticking. I love you guys. I will see you real soon, and as always, happy trails.